With the help of a strange light orb obtained from the ancient map, Xiao Yan managed to escape the illusion created by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Continuing from the previous chapter, the crowd, seeing that the Pure Lotus Demon Flame was about to emerge, swarmed into the fractured space. Sun Er turned her head and said to Xiao Yan, "Brother Xiao Yan, if your people do not have the strength of at least a half doshang, let them leave first. Capturing the Pure Lotus Demon Flame does not depend on numbers." Xiao Yan nodded slightly. Although the elites of the Alliance were considered top-notch experts, many were already drenched in sweat and had to use Do Qi to resist the extreme heat outside the space. If they rashly charged in, fewer than 10 might come out alive. Yao Lao turned his head and sternly commanded, "Return to the Alliance and guard it closely." Hearing this, the Alliance's experts breathed a sigh of relief and promptly replied, "Yes." They then quickly and orderly retreated. Although they regretted not witnessing the demon flame, it was better than losing their lives. They were well aware of their slim chances of surviving in such a dangerous place. Not far away, Huaxian cupped his hands at Xiao Yan from a distance. "Hee, Brother Xiao Yan, we will go in first." Then, under the leadership of Elder Hua Yao, they moved and were the first to enter the milky white light circle, disappearing from sight. Seeing the strong members of the ancient clans rush into the light circle, Xiao Yan clenched his fist slightly and smiled eagerly. "Let's move too." Sun Er nodded, then reminded gravely, "Brother Xiao Yan, it's said that the Pure Lotus Demon Flame can be drawn by human emotions, causing the demon flame to be born from within the body. Once the demon flame appears inside, even the soul will be burned to nothingness. So, after entering that space, no matter what you see, try to maintain inner peace. Do not rejoice or grieve over external things. Control any feelings of joy, anger, sorrow, or resentment, or these emotions will attract the demon flame to you." Hearing this, Xiao Yan, Yao Lao, and the others' faces slightly changed. The Pure Lotus Demon Flame was too mysterious, even for them as alchemists. They never expected it to be able to use human emotions in such a bizarre manner, truly deserving the name of Demon Flame. Xiao Yan slowly exhaled. "All right, everyone be careful. Let's move out." Without further ado, he waved his sleeve, and his figure was the first to move, transforming into a stream of light, darting into the light circle. Behind him, Sun Er and the others quickly followed. As Xiao Yan's body passed through the light circle, his skin suddenly tensed up. The passage through the circle took only an instant, and as the light before his eyes dimmed slightly, he realized that the surrounding space had already changed. The first sensation brought by the spatial shift was an intense heat. What a terrifying temperature. He quickly scanned his surroundings and found himself in a strange space filled with milky white flames. This entire space was engulfed in these flames, emitting a heat so extreme that even he, who had absorbed 5 types of heavenly flames, felt unusually hot. With a thought, Xiao Yan summoned his own heavenly flames, which slowly emerged from within his body, enveloping him entirely. Only then did the boiling heat that made his blood feel like it was about to boil subside significantly. Frowning slightly at the empty surroundings, Xiao Yan muttered, "Is this the space where the Pure Lotus Demon Flame is sealed? Where are Sun Er and the others?" He should have entered this space with Sun Er and the rest, but now he found himself alone. Frowning deeply, Xiao Yan hovered in midair, avoiding contact with any of the milky white flames. Though these flames were not the Pure Lotus Demon Flame itself, they were still not to be underestimated. Moreover, the place was filled with hidden dangers, seeming calm but full of lethal threats. Being cautious was the safest approach. "I should leave here first." Scanning his surroundings, Xiao Yan tapped his foot lightly in the void, and his figure shot out quickly. This place made him uneasy. He needed to find the others first. Xiao Yan sped through the sea of flames, the terrifying heat emanating from all around, piercing his skin despite the protection of his heavenly flames. In this space, even the air had evaporated, leaving an indescribable desolation in its wake. Xiao Yan flew for nearly 10 minutes, but as he continued, his expression grew increasingly grim. The sea of flames seemed endless, and he had seen no sign of anyone else. It felt as if this fiery ocean was infinite. Frowning, Xiao Yan's face was full of contemplation and confusion. How big is this space? Were we separated when we entered? But I didn't sense any signs of teleportation at that moment. Voices ahead. Just as Xiao Yan was musing, he suddenly heard faint voices not far ahead. A flicker of joy crossed his heart, and he swiftly darted forward. However, as he moved closer, he abruptly stopped. Ahead, 3 dark figures hovered in the air, their eyes cold and mocking as they looked at him. Soul Hall Master? The 3 dark figures were none other than the Soul Hall Master and his 2 subordinates. Unexpectedly, they were here, seemingly waiting specifically for him. Staring at the 3, Xiao Yan asked in a low voice, "Why are you here?" As he spoke, he quietly began to circulate his dou qi. The Soul Hall Master smiled slightly. "Nothing much, just here to show you something." Then, black mist suddenly surged from his palm, rolling and churning until it formed a somewhat ethereal male figure. Seeing this figure, Xiao Yan was struck as if by lightning, murmuring, "Father!" Xiao Zhan. The figure the Soul Hall Master had pulled out was indeed Xiao Zhan, but it was only a soul form. Hearing Xiao Yan's murmurs, Xiao Zhan's body trembled. He raised his head and looked incredulously at the slender young man. "Xiao Yan?" The Soul Hall Master's face twisted into a cold smile. "Xiao Yan, opposing my Soul Clan only leads to one end, the destruction of your family." He then slowly placed his hand on Xiao Zhan's head and said indifferently, "Since you are about to be captured, he has no reason to exist anymore." Seeing the Soul Hall Master's actions, Xiao Yan's eyes suddenly turned blood red. "Stop!" Ignoring Xiao Yan's shout, the Soul Hall Master sneered coldly, clenched his fist, and Xiao Zhan's soul exploded into countless light particles. These particles dispersed and were then consumed by the terrifying heat, turning into nothingness. Xiao Yan stared blankly at the exploding light particles, his body trembling violently. A terrifying killing intent surged wildly from the depths of his heart. Sensing the boundless, frenzied killing intent within Xiao Yan, the Soul Hall Master's face twisted into a sinister smile. With bloodshot eyes and labored breathing, Xiao Yan glared at the Soul Hall Master and took a sudden step forward. However, the moment he stepped down, his body froze as milky white flames burst out from every pore. The terrible flames wreaked havoc inside his body. Demon Flame? The sudden intense pain brought Xiao Yan back to his senses. He quickly looked up to find that the Soul Hall Master and his 2 subordinates had vanished. This realization stunned Xiao Yan. He immediately understood the oddity of the situation. "Damn, I fell into a trap. Everything here is an illusion designed to provoke emotional fluctuations." Gritting his teeth, Xiao Yan muttered, "The demon flame is strong, but without anyone actively controlling it, it won't be easy to incinerate me." He swiftly formed hand seals, and the new heavenly flame, which had fused 5 different heavenly flames, fully activated. It spread wildly throughout his body, counterattacking the milky white flames. Faced with the frenzied counterattack from Xiao Yan's heavenly flame, the milky white flames retreated inch by inch and were eventually expelled from his body. When the milky white flames finally left his body, Xiao Yan let out a sigh of relief, drenched in cold sweat. Fortunately, his high resistance to flames and his strong physique prevented his meridians from turning into ashes. Wiping away the cold sweat, Xiao Yan remarked, "No wonder it's called the demon flame. The illusions it creates are no less potent than those of the Bodhi ancient tree." With a thought, the heavenly flame within him surged into his eyes. As the flames entered his eyes, the world before him changed. The sea of milky white flames vanished, replaced by a space filled with milky white mist spanning dozens of feet. Within this mist, nearly a dozen people were flying around with various expressions. Some were even enveloped by the milky white flames, ultimately turning into ashes with tragic screams. Xiao Yan quickly scanned the milky white mist and realized that the illusions were caused by this strange mist. Xiao Yan's scanning gaze suddenly froze in horror on an old figure not far ahead of him. "Teacher." It was Yao Lao, but at this moment, he was in immense pain. Faint traces of milky white flames were appearing on the surface of his body, a clear sign of the demon flame igniting. Seeing the milky white flames gradually burning on Yao Lao's body, Xiao Yan was filled with dread. He knew all too well how difficult it was to expel the demon flame once it ignited within the body. If not for his own possession of 5 different heavenly flames, he would have been severely injured by the demon flame earlier. Although Yao Lao was a dou qiong, without the protection of a heavenly flame, the demon flame invading his body would undoubtedly result in severe injuries. While Xiao Yan was horrified, his body reacted instinctively. In a flash, he appeared beside Yao Lao and slammed a palm on his back, shouting in a low voice. In his shout, Xiao Yan infused a trace of his soul's power, directing the sound wave directly into Yao Lao's ear and fiercely impacting his soul. Yao Lao's face turned pale instantly, and his tightly closed eyes snapped open. Yao Lao opened his eyes and saw Xiao Yan beside him. He panted heavily and, after a moment, wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. The Pure Lotus Demon Flame is terrifying. It deliberately sets illusions to provoke emotional fluctuations, leading to self-immolation. If you hadn't woken me up early, my fate would have been dire. Xiao Yan gave a bitter smile, then scanned the surroundings. This mist is strange. Let's leave this area first. Yao Lao frowned with concern. What about Yuewen ancestor and the others? This demon flame space was too bizarre, filled with deadly dangers. Even dou qiong experts faced life-threatening risks here. Xiao Yan shook his head and pondered for a moment. I haven't seen them in this area. Sun Er and the others are also missing. They are likely with Sun Er and Ziyin, and their combined strength should make escaping the illusions easier. Yao Lao nodded slightly. All right. In this eerie place, even if they wanted to help, there wasn't much they could do. Their only consolation was that they hadn't brought a large group in. Otherwise, the casualties would have been disastrous. Xiao Yan waved his hand. Let's go. He glanced at those still trapped in the illusions, but quickly flew towards the edge of the mist. He wasn't inclined to be a savior. Most of the people here were competitors for the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. A moment of compassion could lead to unnecessary trouble. Once Xiao Yan and Yao Lao broke free from the illusions, they didn't stay put. After a few minutes of flying, they rushed out of the mist-covered area. As they exited the mist, both felt a slight lightness in their bodies. They looked back at the strange milky white mist enveloping the space and breathed a sigh of relief. Just as they escaped the mist, a joyful voice called out from not far ahead, "Brother Xiao Yan." Xiao Yan looked up to see a huge platform suspended in midair, not far ahead. At the end of the platform was a giant white door. On the platform, Sun Er and the others were gathered, their eyes filled with joy as they watched Xiao Yan and Yao Lao emerge from the mist. As Xiao Yan caught sight of Sun Er and Ziyin, he descended slowly, locking eyes with Yao Lao. Flames surged into his eyes, but nothing seemed to change. This isn't an illusion. Relieved, Xiao Yan smiled. Are you all okay? Sun Er and the others quickly approached, shaking their heads with a smile. We're fine. Then, with a hint of amazement, she added, I didn't expect the Pure Lotus Demon Flame to be able to release the Nightmare Sky Mist. It seems its power has significantly increased over the millennium. Xiao Yan was taken aback. Nightmare Sky Mist? It's a mist that traps people in illusions forever. This was originally the unique skill of the Pure Lotus Demon Saint. It's said that the Pure Lotus Demon Saint once used this technique to envelop a city, making its inhabitants believe they lived there for hundreds of years. Only when the mist dispersed did they realize it was all a dream. Gu Nanhai explained with a faint smile, then sighed, 8,000 years ago, the Pure Lotus Demon Flame couldn't perform this technique. It seems this journey will indeed be perilous. Hearing the name, Pure Lotus Demon Saint, Xiao Yan thought of the glowing orb in his mind. This must also be the work of the Pure Lotus Demon Saint. However, what puzzled him was that the orb, which used to react intensely to the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, had become quiet since they entered this place. Xiao Yan's gaze swept over the group, then he looked around. Where are the others? He realized that besides their group, the square was completely deserted. Sun Er explained, this space is controlled by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. The moment we entered, we fell into its hands. It decides where to transport people. Gu Nanhai shook his head, his eyes on the tightly closed giant door. It purposely let us stay together. This space is extremely bizarre. I tried to break through earlier, but even I would face severe backlash. This is an extremely sturdy prison. Tearing it apart is impossible. According to our ancestors, the last time this happened, they followed the path behind the giant door and eventually saw the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. However, there are bound to be many obstacles behind that door. To see the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, we must get through them. Xiao Yan frowned. This place is arranged by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Forcing our way through won't be easy. Gu Nanhai smiled faintly. This is the Pure Lotus Demon Flame's territory. Even we must follow its rules before seeing its true form. Just as he was about to continue, the space around them began to shake violently, and a terrifying heat spread from all directions. Seeing this, Gu Nanhai frowned. Be careful. Of course, Xiao Yan and the others were already on high alert, their eyes warily scanning the increasingly distorted space around them. This demon flame space was too strange. They had to be extremely cautious. As the space twisted more, cracks suddenly appeared. From these cracks, waves of milky white flames surged out. Soon, figures enveloped in milky white flames poured out from the cracks like a tide. In an instant, the sky above the square was filled with these flame figures. These figures, their bodies wrapped in flames and holding flaming spears, stared emotionlessly at Xiao Yan and the others. Xiao Yan looked at the numerous flame figures in surprise and realized that they had solid forms and strong auras. Seeing these flame figures, Gu Nanhai said solemnly, "Be careful. These are fire slaves, strong beings refined by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, akin to a unique kind of puppet." As soon as Gu Nanhai finished speaking, the thousands of flame figures roared and charged at Xiao Yan and the others with overwhelming momentum. Seeing the fierce assault, Xiao Yan frowned, his hand reaching out. A terrifying force spread out, instantly crushing nearly 100 flame figures. As Xiao Yan attacked, Sun Er and the others also launched their attacks. As Doshing experts, their strikes were powerful, reducing many flame figures to nothing. However, no matter how fiercely Xiao Yan and the others attacked, more fire slaves kept emerging from the cracks, endless in number. Gu Nanhai shouted, "Killing them won't work. We need to go inside." Xiao Yan frowned slightly, pondered for a moment, then nodded, "Let's go." With that, he kicked off the ground and shot forward. The fire slaves blocking his path exploded within 10 meters of him. The group charged through the flame figures and finally each unleashed a powerful strike, hitting the giant door with all their might. Facing such a powerful combined assault, the giant door shattered open. As it did, the endless ranks of fire slaves halted their pursuit, hovering densely in the air. Let's go. According to our ancestors, the end of this demon flame hall is where the true form of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame resides. Gu Nanhai shouted. Everyone turned their gaze towards Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan frowned deeply, glancing back at the endless sea of fire slaves, then towards the open door. After a moment of silence, he nodded. "Let's move." Seeing Xiao Yan nod, Gu Nanhai led the way through the giant door, followed quickly by Sun Er and the others. As Xiao Yan watched the others disappear through the door, he furrowed his brow. Staying here meant being overwhelmed by the endless army of fire slaves. It seemed the only way forward was to keep pushing through. However, a sense of unease lingered in Xiao Yan's heart. This demon flame space was too bizarre. Inside the vast hall, milky white flames filled the space. On the enormous plaza, countless flame figures stood silently. Despite their silence, an incredibly terrifying aura pervaded the area, merging into a gigantic flame dragon coiling above them, exuding murderous intent. At one end of the hall, Xiao Yan and the others couldn't help but frown at the sight. This was not the first time they had encountered such a scene. Since passing through the giant door, they had faced 3 halls almost identical to this one. The deeper they went, the stronger the fire slaves became. The fire slaves before them now, based on Xiao Yan and the others' perception, each possessed the strength of a dozun. Wando Zun was insignificant to Xiao Yan and his group, but when their numbers reached 10,000, even Dosheng experts had to be cautious. These fire slaves coordinated perfectly, making their combined strength terrifying. Xiao Yan frowned and couldn't help but ask, Elder Gu, how long must we keep pushing through like this? Even though their group was strong, if these halls continued endlessly, their Do Chi would eventually be exhausted. The energy in this space was tainted with traces of demon fire, making it too dangerous to absorb. If this continued, even Do Shang experts wouldn't be able to sustain themselves. Gunan Hai shook his head. There's no other way. This demon flame space has been cultivated by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame for over 1,000 years, making it as dangerous as a dragon's lair. Otherwise, it wouldn't have remained uncaptured for so long. Xiao Yan's frown deepened, but there was no other option. This demon flame space was too strange. Once they passed through an area, it would mysteriously disappear as if an invisible hand erased it, forcing them to keep moving forward. Xiao Yan asked, did your ancestors face these challenges when they came here? Gunan Hai nodded, yes. Was the Pure Lotus Demon Flame stronger 1,000 years ago? Or is it stronger now? Xiao Yan's eyes gleamed. 1,000 years ago, the Pure Lotus Demon Flame wasn't captured, but it was severely injured. Over the millennium, it should have fully healed. Judging by the nightmare sky mist, it seems stronger now. Gunan Hai hesitated. I see. Xiao Yan looked up at the giant hall's ceiling, his eyes flickering. It seems the Pure Lotus Demon Flame intends to toy with us like puppets. Hearing this, everyone frowned slightly. Being toyed with by a heavenly flame was something hard to accept. Xiao Yan pondered for a moment before calmly waving his hand. Let's keep moving. His voice was steady once again. Hearing this, the group was momentarily stunned but quickly nodded in agreement. They moved as one, swiftly demolishing the army of fire slaves in the hall with overwhelming force. They then transformed into streaks of light, rapidly reaching the end of the hall, shattering the giant door, and pressing on. The subsequent journey was filled with monotonous challenges. Each hall they encountered was similar, filled with fire slaves that grew progressively stronger. By the final hall, even Yuewen ancestor sustained some injuries fighting the army of fire slaves. Though the rest were mostly fine, their expressions grew increasingly grave. Battling through each hall was akin to fighting multiple Do Sheng experts, an exhausting endeavor. Xiao Yan, expressionless, shattered the enormous door with a single palm strike, sending shards flying. Another hall appeared before them, and seeing it, everyone felt a surge of fatigue. How much longer would this endless gauntlet continue? Xiao Yan scanned the hall and then let out a surprised sound, realizing there were no densely packed fire slaves this time. Sun Er noticed as well and exclaimed in surprise, "Is the challenge over?" Gunan Hai slowly shook his head. No. His gaze was fixed on the center of the hall, where a thin figure stood straight. Unlike the others, this figure was not enveloped in flames. His eyes were closed, but a powerful aura, as oppressive as a mountain, emanated from him. Both Gunan Hai and Zi Yan trembled slightly, their faces gradually becoming solemn. 4-star Dosheng. Although they were also 4-star Dosheng, this figure was even stronger than them. Xiao Yan asked incredulously, "Is he also a fire slave?" How terrifying had the Pure Lotus Demon Flame become to turn a 4-star Dosheng into a fire slave. He's barely a fire slave, but retains his own intelligence. Unlike those completely controlled by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, he has a great deal of autonomy, Gunan Hai said solemnly. It looks like this is the final challenge. If we get through, we can reach the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. This won't be easy, Xiao Yan frowned. Defeating a 4-star Dosheng wouldn't be easy, even with their strong lineup. We've come this far. There's no turning back now, Ziyin said, spreading her hands and looking at Xiao Yan. She then looked at Gunan Hai with a lazy tone. Let's take him down together. I'm tired of this place. Agreed. Gunan Hai nodded. He knew facing the thin man alone would be too difficult. Xiao Yan waved his hand. Be alert. The group silently entered the hall, spreading out to encircle the thin figure, while Ziyin and Gunan Hai stood in front of him. As their footsteps echoed in the hall, the The thin man's closed eyes slowly opened. His pitch-black pupils were indifferent and emotionless. Yet unlike the previous fire slaves, there was a hint of intelligence, though it was icy cold. His gaze fixed on Ziyin and Gu Nanhai. No words were exchanged, but the tension in the air grew palpable. Now closer, Xiao Yan could see the thin figure clearly. He wore the simplest of clothes, his face rigid and expressionless, with eyes as cold as ancient ice. In the silent hall, the ground suddenly trembled heavily. The thin figure in front lightly grasped the void, and a massive, blood-red giant axe, several meters long and extremely exaggerated in appearance, materialized out of thin air. Under the shadow of this giant axe, his thin frame looked somewhat comical, but everyone could clearly feel the terrifying power hidden within that slender body. Xiao Yan's expression was serious. This person is incredibly strong. It was unimaginable that such a powerful individual could be controlled by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Staring at the blood-red giant axe, Gu Nanhai's brow furrowed slightly, as if deep in thought. Once the blood-red giant axe appeared, there were no words exchanged. With a fierce burst of wind, the three figures clashed violently. The explosive impact forced Xiao Yan and the others to retreat hastily. In the vast hall, the three figures moved at blinding speed. With each flicker and clash, sparks flew, and the incredibly sturdy hall began to crack and crumble. Xiao Yan and the others retreated to a safe distance, aware that the battle between three four-star Dosheng experts was not something they could easily intervene in. Even the shockwaves were daunting. Inside the hall, the thin figure wielding the giant blood axe fought fiercely against Ziyin and Gu Nanhai. The axe swung like a whirlwind, filling the hall with a bloody scent. Despite his strength, Ziyin and Gu Nanhai were formidable opponents, gradually forcing him into a disadvantage. However, his occasional counterattacks still caused them some trouble, indicating that neither of them could defeat him in a one-on-one fight. The three figures collided in the center of the hall, sending out shockwaves like tidal waves. The blood axe wielder was forced back, his feet stamping out deep craters in the floor. As he was driven back, a crazed heat surged in the blood axe wielder's indifferent eyes. A low growl emanated from his throat, and a strong light burst from his forehead. Within the light, a sigil slowly appeared, and as it did, his aura surged dramatically. Xiao Yan's eyes immediately locked onto the strange sigil, and he was thunderstruck. This is the Xiao Clan's clan mark? The sigil on the blood axe wielder's forehead was unmistakably the unique clan mark of the Xiao Clan. How could this person possess the Xiao Clan's clan mark? Xiao Yan stared dumbfounded at the clan mark on the thin figure's forehead, his heart churning with shock. This kind of mark should only be possessed by him in the current Xiao Clan. Why had it suddenly appeared on this mysterious individual? Sun Er and the others also noticed, exclaiming, "The Xiao Clan's clan mark?" They turned their astonished gazes to Xiao Yan, having seen him use the clan mark before and thus recognizing it well. Sun Er speculated, could he be a predecessor from the Xiao Clan? Hearing this, Xiao Yan's heart trembled. The Pure Lotus Demon Flame had existed for countless years, perhaps even longer than the Xiao Clan. If it had captured a Xiao Clan expert from that era, it wouldn't be impossible. This thought brought a flicker of joy to Xiao Yan's heart, but it quickly faded. The current thin man seemed to be a fire slave of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. As thoughts raced through Xiao Yan's mind, the aura of the thin man in the field surged. He swung his enormous blood-red axe, and the terrifying force instantly tore through the space, striking the energy shield in front of Ziyin and Gu Nanhai. Faced with such an overwhelming attack, the energy shield shattered like tofu, and Ziyin and Gu Nanhai were hit hard. Their faces turned pale as they stumbled back dozens of steps, each step leaving a half-foot deep imprint on the ground. After cleaving Ziyin and Gu Nanhai, the thin man didn't let up. He moved swiftly, appearing above them, and swung his massive blood-red axe, tearing through the void with a destructive force, aiming directly at Ziyin and Gu Nanhai. As the giant axe descended, Xiao Yan's eyes flickered rapidly. He gritted his teeth and flashed in front of Ziyin and Gu Nanhai. At the same time, a clan mark appeared on his forehead. The enormous blood-red axe loomed large in Xiao Yan's eyes. Just as it was about to strike his head, the axe suddenly halted. The face of the thin man behind the axe, usually indifferent, showed a flicker of emotion. Staring at the suspended blood-red axe above his head, Xiao Yan felt a surge of relief. The fire lotus hovering in his sleeve dissipated silently. He raised his head and fixed his gaze on the thin man, whose face showed confusion and contemplation. Bowing slightly, he said in a deep voice, "May I ask the senior's name? I am Xiao Yan, a member of the Xiao Clan." Hearing Xiao Clan, the thin man's indifferent eyes showed ripples of emotion. He looked at Xiao Yan, and gradually, a strange connection surfaced in his heart, a familiar sensation of bloodline. The thin man's lips parted, and in a hoarse voice, he asked, You're from the Xiao Clan?" Xiao Yan nodded quickly. It seemed this mysterious person had a significant connection to the Xiao Clan. However, just as joy filled his heart, the thin man's next words chilled him. "Who am I?" The senior seemed quite disoriented. Suddenly, a voice filled with shock came from behind Xiao Yan. "You're Xiao Chun, the blood axe Xiao Chen." Xiao Yan turned to see Gu Nanhai, who looked utterly incredulous. "Xiao Chun?" The thin man also frowned and murmured, "Xiao Chun." Sun Er quickly approached, surprised. "Elder Gu, do you know this senior?" Gu Nanhai stared at the thin man. "I don't know him personally, but I recognize that blood-red axe from ancient records. In the past, the Xiao Clan produced a remarkably talented individual. His signature weapon was a massive blood axe, and his name was Xiao Chen. Xiao Chun was a prodigy, a cousin of Xiao Xian, but he was unpredictable and unrestrained. Before his rise to fame, many strong warriors perished under his axe. However, he mysteriously disappeared, and the Xiao Clan could never find him. Unexpectedly, he's here." Recalling something, Gu Nanhai exclaimed, "Right." Shortly after his disappearance, there were rumors of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Xiao Yan paused, frowning. A cousin of ancestor Xiao Xian. That made Xiao Chun one of his ancestors too. Yet here, he avoided the great calamity that befell the Xiao Clan. "It's hard to say if it's a curse or a blessing," Gu Nanhai said, standing beside Xiao Yan with a sigh. Xiao Yan remained silent, gazing at Xiao Chun, who seemed to be one of the Xiao Clan's ancestors. The latter's face showed signs of struggle, as if resisting something. Seeing this, Gu Nanhai was startled and whispered, "He's resisting the control of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame." In the field, Xiao Chun leaned on his giant axe, his body trembling. Faint milky white flames gradually emerged from his pores. Seeing this, Xiao Yan's face changed slightly. Clearly, the Pure Lotus Demon Flame was trying to regain control over Xiao Chen. But in this situation, he didn't know how to help. After all, the demon flame originated from Xiao Chen's body. As Xiao Yan was at a loss, he suddenly felt a light touch on his forehead, and a faint ripple emerged from the light mass in his mind. The sudden activity of the light mass startled Xiao Yan. He silently sensed the subtle ripple, and after a moment, his eyes began to sparkle. Sun Er, standing nearby, noticed Xiao Yan pause and then suddenly start walking towards Xiao Chen. Alarmed, she exclaimed, "Brother Xiao Yan." Xiao Yan just waved his hand in response, quickly stepping up to Xiao Chun. He placed a firm hand on Xiao Chen's shoulder, and as he did, Xiao Chen's trembling body strangely calmed down, and the milky white flames that were about to burst out gradually dissipated. Xiao Chun took a few deep breaths before raising his head, looking complexly at the clan mark on Xiao Yan's forehead, and asked hoarsely, "How is the Xiao Clan now?" Xiao Yan remained silent for a moment, then softly replied, "The Xiao Clan no longer exists." He briefly explained the current situation of the Xiao family. Xiao Chen did not speak throughout, but his clenched fists slowly began to drip with crimson blood. After a long while, he spoke with a trembling voice, "Even brother Xiao Xian has fallen?" Seeing Xiao Chen's clenched fists and lowered head, Xiao Yan sighed lightly. He knew the deep regret in Xiao Chen's heart, but even if he had stayed with the Xiao Clan, their fate would likely have been the same due to the overwhelming power of the Soul Clan. Xiao Yan spoke softly, "This is the Demon Flame space. Ancestor Xiao Chun, Please lead us to the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Xiao Chan shook his head, his voice still hoarse. You are no match for the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Xiao Yan smiled slightly, his eyes sparkling with determination. Staying here means certain death. Xiao Chan lifted his head and locked eyes with Xiao Yan for a moment before finally standing up slowly. Follow me. He turned and walked towards the final hall door. Xiao Yan said nothing more, simply waved his hand. Follow him. He followed closely behind, with Gu Nanhai opening his mouth but saying nothing, ultimately following as well. The group silently followed Xiao Chan. As he slowly pushed open the giant door, they saw a staircase extending to the end. At the top of the stairs was a massive altar. Xiao Yan smiled faintly at the sight of the altar and took the lead, stepping onto the stone steps and walking towards the end. Xiao Chan, Sun Er, and the others hesitated briefly before quickly following. Everyone climbed the stone steps in silence, and after about 10 minutes, they finally neared the altar. Xiao Yan looked up to see a huge throne silently standing on the altar. On the throne sat a figure in a white robe, with wisps of milky white flames swirling around them, constantly changing forms. The figure in the white robe simply sat there quietly, with no aura emanating from them. However, in Xiao Yan and the others' eyes, the figure seemed incredibly eerie. As the group stepped onto the altar, the figure in the white robe slowly opened their eyes, revealing a stunningly beautiful smile on their face. Their voice was gentle and kind, yet it seemed to make the entire space tremble. Defeat me, and you can obtain the essence of the demon flame. Otherwise, you will remain here forever, becoming my fire slaves. Gu Nanhai and the others' faces turned serious, a sense of defeat welling up in their hearts. The person before them made them feel utterly unmatched. The silence lasted for a moment before Xiao Yan finally exhaled deeply. His face showed signs of fatigue, and his low, deep voice slowly echoed through the altar. As Xiao Yan's voice quietly reverberated, the gentle smile on the handsome man's face gradually solidified. Pure Lotus Demon Flame. It seems you have inherited the Pure Lotus Demon Saint's legacy. Otherwise, you could not have cultivated the Nightmare Sky Mist to this level. I must admit, the illusion you created is more realistic than even the Bodhi Ancient Tree. However, no matter how realistic an illusion is, it remains an illusion. The gentle smile on the handsome man's face slowly vanished, replaced by an eerie coldness. He stared intently at Xiao Yan, and although he didn't speak, the surrounding space began to tremble violently, like ripples in water. Sun Er and the others were startled by Xiao Yan's words, and then they seemed to suddenly understand. You mean we are still in an illusion? Ziyan quickly added, I'm real. From her senses, she was absolutely certain she was real, with no trace of illusion. Xiao Yan's gaze remained fixed on the man in the white robe, and he spoke softly. We are all real, but we are indeed trapped in an illusion. This is the most terrifying aspect of the Nightmare Sky Mist. If we continue to follow the Pure Lotus Demon Flame's arrangement, we will sink deeper and deeper until we ultimately become its fire slaves. Even if we fought a great battle here and killed it, we would still remain in the illusion. Gu Nanhai frowned deeply and suddenly looked at the silent Xiao Chan beside him. Do you mean that the fire slaves we encountered, including Xiao Chan, are all illusions? There is truth in the illusion and illusion in the truth. This is the terrifying part of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Ancestor Xiao Chan is not an illusion. He is real. Xiao Yan shook his head, looking at Xiao Chan. But most of his mind is controlled by the Pure Lotus Demon Flame. Sun Er and the others exchanged glances, then cautiously scanned their surroundings. But no matter how they probed, they couldn't detect the slightest hint of an illusion. Xiao Yan sighed. Back then, the Pure Lotus Demon Saint was known as the strongest person closest to the Do Di. However, he ultimately fell victim to the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, leading to his demise. After his death, the Pure Lotus Demon Flame inherited his legacy, and the Nightmare Sky Mist became the Pure Lotus Demon Saint's signature technique. When this Demon Saint used this move, he could make a city of millions live in an illusion for hundreds of years. The miraculous effects of this illusion are beyond ordinary people's imagination. His voice carried a sense of astonishment. Just thinking about such an illusion was terrifying. The Pure Lotus Demon Saint indeed deserved his title. Gu Nanhai spoke solemnly. In the past, when the demon flame emerged, no one encountered such a troublesome situation. The previous Pure Lotus Demon Flame didn't have this ability. 8,000 years can change many things, and it could also allow the Pure Lotus Demon Flame to gradually learn all of the Pure Lotus Demon Saint's techniques. In a way, he can now be considered a different kind of Pure Lotus Demon Saint. Xiao Yan's gaze was fixed on the increasingly cold-faced man in the white robe as he spoke softly. On the throne, the man in the white robe finally opened his mouth, his voice somewhat eerie. "Why do you know so much about the nightmare sky mist?" Xiao Yan smiled, discreetly touching his forehead with his hand, but did not answer the question. His sudden realization and detection of the strange situation were due to the light mass in his mind. Without its guidance, he would have been trapped here like everyone else. Before the light mass reminded him, he had never imagined that even after escaping the nightmare sky mist, they were still in an illusion. Xiao Yan smiled slightly. "It seems you have spent these 1,000 years creating this illusion. Of course, under normal circumstances, you would achieve a great victory this time. I imagine no one could have discovered the intricacies of this place." He was filled with a sense of gratitude. The place that the Pure Lotus Demon Flame had created over 1,000 years was not easily broken through. Without the strange light mass from the ancient map, everyone who entered the Demon Flame space this time would have been completely wiped out, including those from the Soul Hall. With a swift movement, the figure appeared above Xiao Yan and the others. He clenched his hand, and the milky white flames transformed into a massive flaming spear. With a swing of his arm, the spear tore through the air, bringing with it a sense of utter destruction as it hurtled towards Xiao Yan and his companions. Under this overwhelming destructive force, everyone's faces turned pale. Seeing this, Xiao Yan's voice thundered like a sudden clap of thunder. "Do not use Doqi defenses. In your mind, see him as a worthless fool, or you will all die." The thunderous command in their ears jolted everyone, and despite the absurdity of Xiao Yan's metaphor, they suppressed their fear and, with great effort, withdrew all their Doqi defenses. At this moment, they had no choice but to trust Xiao Yan. The colossal flaming spear descended from the sky, slamming into their bodies with devastating force. However, just as they braced for severe injuries, the flaming spear abruptly vanished. In the sky, the handsome face of the man in the white robe twisted in anger. "You scoundrel!" His body began to flicker, becoming somewhat illusory. He hadn't expected Xiao Yan to find a way to weaken his power so quickly. Xiao Yan stood solemnly, raising 2 fingers. Nightmare illusion break? A drop of blood essence shot from his fingertip, swiftly forming a peculiar blood sigil. Seeing the blood sigil, the man in the white robe's face darkened. "The sigil of breaking nightmares? How do you know that?" Xiao Yan ignored him, flicking his finger. "Go!" The blood sigil shot forward, firmly attaching itself to the void ahead. Instantly, the space began to tremble violently. Finally, to Xiao Yan and the others' surprise, it exploded with a loud bang. At the moment of the spatial explosion, Xiao Yan and the others felt a dizzying sensation deep in their minds. They hurriedly opened their eyes. Upon opening their eyes, they saw a sea of lava. Milky white flames occasionally leaped from the molten sea, which stretched to the horizon, making it seem as if the entire space was an endless sea of lava. Above this sea of lava, massive rocks floated, and Xiao Yan and his companions found themselves atop one of these rocks. Not far behind them, a huge silver ring slowly rotated. Seeing this unfamiliar region, Sun Er and the others breathed a sigh of relief. "Are we out?" Yao Lao looked around, somewhat alarmed, and said, "Could this still be an illusion?" The previous ordeal had left them wary, as no one could have anticipated that all their efforts would be in vain within that illusion. Xiao Yan chuckled, also feeling a sense of relief. The Pure Lotus Demon Flame doesn't have that kind of power. Escaping that damned illusion felt like a burden lifted from his soul. The Nightmare Sky Mist, as the Pure Lotus Demon Saint's signature technique, was indeed terrifying. Just as Xiao Yan was relaxing, Xiao Chan suddenly let out a low growl beside him, his face showing signs of struggle. He said hoarsely and urgently, "The Pure Lotus Demon Flame is trying to control me again." Seeing this, Xiao Yan's expression changed slightly. Although Xiao Chan was considered a fire slave of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, he could resist its control due to his immense strength. If there were a way to free him from the Demon Flame's control, he would be an invaluable ally. Right now, Xiao Yan desperately needed such a powerful figure by his side. However, thinking about it was one thing. Achieving it was another. Xiao Yan had already experienced the terror of the Pure Lotus Demon Flame, and removing its control over Xiao Chan was no easy task. As Xiao Yan was pondering this dilemma, the mysterious light mass in his mind suddenly emitted a subtle ripple. Leaving this ripple, Xiao Yan was momentarily stunned. After sensing it briefly, his face lit up with joy. He immediately pressed his finger to Xiao Chen's forehead, unleashing a torrent of soul power that quickly drew an invisible rune on Xiao Chen's forehead. As the rune took shape, the struggle on Xiao Chen's face gradually faded. Seeing Xiao Chen return to normal, Xiao Yan withdrew his finger and said softly, "This will only temporarily block the Pure Lotus Demon Flame's control. To completely eliminate it, we must first deal with the Demon Flame itself." As soon as Xiao Yan finished speaking, several figures suddenly emerged from the floating rocks around them. They hovered in the air, gasping for breath, their faces filled with fear. Seeing these people, Yao Lao said, "It seems your breaking of the illusion caused a chain reaction, bringing these guys out as well." Xiao Yan smiled slightly. "It's good they're out. We can't subdue the Pure Lotus Demon Flame alone." His gaze shifted to the nearby sea of magma, where the molten lava slowly bulged upward. A massive column of magma, about 100 feet tall, rose from the sea and finally stopped at their level. Amidst the roiling lava, a handsome man in a white robe appeared, drawing everyone's attention. Seeing this real figure, Xiao Yan and the others' expressions turned completely serious. This was the true Pure Lotus Demon Flame.